The big reveal. Let's go. This might just turn into a Chicory soundtrack listening stream instead. Honestly. Look at this thing. It's beefy. Whoa. Just keeps going. This is the Chicory A Colorful Tale soundtrack by Lena Rain. Our pal Lena Rain, whom you might know from such games as Celeste. She's killing it once again. I'm gonna pause this and play the trailer because it's super good. Here we go. And let's go. Cranking it. I know what I'm doing this weekend. That's all I can say to that. Yeah. It's by our good friend Greg Lebenov. And yeah, Lena Rain on the music, and A Shell in the Pit is on the sound design. I think it's M. Halberstadt, who was actually on Real Talk in the not so distant past, guest hosting. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to basically everything about this game. It's yeah. Oh, and of course, freaking published by Finji, who is publishing Tunic. Also relevant. There you go. Lots of indie friend crossover stuff happening there. Plenty. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna link the soundtrack in the chat here, so y'all can check things out and buy the game and support talented people. Okay. Oh, I feel like our puppy has just begun sleeping through the night, like in the last couple nights. So we're very proud of her, and we're sleeping. What a novel idea, sleeping through the night. Excellent. So we're there. Apologies if I'm a little bit drowsy today. We're still coming off some challenging times. It's all right. Okay. So I'm gonna put these aside. Play some more at the end of the stream. Super good. Chicory. Today we got a couple people to look at for Real Talk. We've got Thareeq. That is like the dental Thareeq, Roshan, and Máté. Hey, there he is. Who's been in the chat for plenty of streams. Plenty of them, for sure. I'll zoom in here too. Look at this. I love this look. Super cool. Yeah, always a pleasure to be looking into people's work when I know them from the stream, because we usually have the benefit and luxury of skipping over a lot of the kind of broad strokey stuff where it's like, you should put titles on your things. Like we can skip stuff like that and move into the nitty gritty, which is much more fun and I think much more valuable as well. Yeah. So, and I realized actually today, so we had a tweet and I'm not sure what the story is here, but I had this tweet like written out and just threw it into Twitter, and here's the tweet, but check it out. It's like, get out of here. It's like this, and that's Thareeq. So if Thareeq is here, apparently this no longer exists, and this is actually that's this. Doesn't exist. And there's a Twitter link right here. So that's unfortunate. You're buds with Roshan, and he's in India. Okay. That's his Instagram. Okay, well, it's a Twitter icon, though. There's Instagram also. We can go to that. And it seems there is well, okay, there's like one thing here. Laser sound from a cough. Yeah, so, oh, okay. So you do exist. Perhaps it just wasn't updated or something. So Thareeq, you're saying just that instead. I'm going to write this in. There you are, my friend. Excellent. Thank you for the help, Derek. Appreciate that. Yeah, just I guess just an old link or something. That's good. Damn, is he asleep? Might be. It might be Gotham, yes. It's possible. I would not blame them if they were. But anyways, Turi, good to see you. Brandon Clark, good to see you. Official W me. What up? Natasha, good morning. Ryan makes sound. Hey, Samuth. You've been here before, right? I vaguely recall your name. Matt Galt. Yo, didn't you just hit me up to be on the show? Do I need to reply to you still? I think I saw your name somewhere. Perhaps I'm dreaming, but I think that's what it was. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think so. Well, this is gone now too. Let's bring this back up. Yeah, so we got April Fool's Child. What up? Good to see you again. We got Gotham, of course. Máté rolling in. Shigans. Matt Galt did. Okay. And perhaps Critters Are Us. Yo, that's a new name, though. Well, it says you have 3 messages ever, so I guess you're not entirely new. Following since May 13th. Happy birthday, Kevin. What's up? All right. Excellent. Been here before. Haven't been around for a while. Okay, there you go. Well, good to see you again. Let's, I'm going to close this down. And I think we already are talking about Thareeq, so I guess we might as well just dive in. It's kind of an unceremonious beginning. Just like, oh, I couldn't find his Twitter. Yeah, so you're from India too. Okay, yes, you're a night owl on Thursdays. There you go. Okay. Excuse me. So if it is your first time rolling in for Real Talk, or perhaps you just completely forgot what we do here somehow, we are looking at some game audio demo materials from some up-and-comers in the game audio scene and giving some constructive feedback to help them, or at least try to help them, get a little more traction in whatever corner of the industry they're aiming for finding a gig, whether it's contract work or a studio gig, like with a team like ours, like a Power Up or a Sweet Justice or whatever, third-party studios, or a larger team like Blizzard or whatever, or anything in between. And yeah, so we're going to be looking at a few different criteria with this. We're looking at, there they are, down here. We're looking at presentation, material selection, content quality, and distinction. You saw the stream with Brian Higa. Oh, that was a good one. That was a fun time. It's nice to see him again. So presentation, we're looking at the site on the whole. Things like, do links go to the right place? So that's one of the check boxes to be filled. Just general like navigation things, some details here and there. We'll do a once over the bio. We'll just, really, really basic stuff. We're not going to go too crazy with the website. But for the reel itself, we're looking at things like the length and the flow, and if things transition nicely, and if there's enough information there or too much information there in regards to what the various pieces are. If it's got bookends with your name and contact info and that kind of thing. Just everything besides the actual sound of the thing. For material selection, we are looking at the pieces selected for the demo, the pieces selected for the portfolio, if there are, which there seems to be here, and what those various pieces might suggest to someone coming in and seeing this work for the first time. What it may suggest about what their past work history looks like, and what their current skill sets look like, and what they want to be doing in the future. Kind of all these things. It's important to realize that people might not know anything about you coming in blind, and they have very limited time to be looking at your work. So after watching a demo for a minute or minute and a half or whatever it is, ideally they should have a pretty good idea of like what your deal is without having to dig too much deeper. But you want to reward them if they do dig deeper. That's why we have things like these portfolio pieces. So next up is content quality. Just, is it good? And if it's not good or there's room to improve, we'll try and help you out with that. I'm sure chat will be happy to chime in as well. And oh my God, Derek, there's another one yet. Roshan audio. I'm going to this. Another one. What's happening on Twitter right now? Okay. December 13th, 2020. Well, is it? And then there was like, was it here? And then this is August 15th. Oh my goodness. Thareeq is all over Twitter apparently. All right, well. Okay. Oh, okay, no sweat. We'll figure it out. We got there eventually. Okay, yes, content quality, is it good? And then finally, distinction. Just, is it standing out in some positive way? And that could be any positive way. It could be a slick website, could be like cool flow in the reel, could be particularly good sound design, like unique sound design. Just whatever stands out in some positive way at all. And yeah, it's important to realize like that standing out may not even mean you get hired this time around, but it means that you will make an impression and you just increase your chances from then on. And if you apply that same gig again, or, if you apply the same gig again, you might have a better shot because they'd be like, oh yeah, I recall Thareeq from last time, totally. And then if they see you've been putting your time in and you've made improvements and there's like all new stuff on the page, then that's going to look very good, obviously. And I mean, conversely, if you make an impression and you don't get hired from them, it's very likely. I mean, the game scene is pretty small. It's a small industry and it's not unusual. It's in fact quite common to just get referred to somebody else, right? Naturally. I mean, heck, I have personally referred, teams come to Power Up and say, hey, can we work on a project? And we don't have time maybe, or perhaps it's like not a good fit for whatever reason. In that case, we might just pass it off to someone I've seen on Real Talk who's like up and coming and could use a project like this. That's not the most uncommon thing. It's happened many times. So anyway, Thareeq, let's go. We got home, resume, blog, about. Any blog guesses in the chat? When was the last post? That's the question. I'll read the about me in the meantime. You can put your guesses in the chat. What the most recent post was. We'll see if you're optimists or pessimists. We'll find out. I'm a sound designer / audio enthusiast with a background in computer science. I've been involved in digital audio since I was 14, making amateur music, before I did my formal studies first in computer science and engineering, and then into audio engineering and sound design. This is a long sentence. Oh, I can't even select the text. It's just an image. I guess it's on top. I believe that understanding technology at a fundamental level and innovation is critical to push the boundaries of what is possible in audio. This helps us tell better stories and deliver better experiences to the audience. Yeah, this could use some editing for sure. I believe that understanding technology at a fundamental level. Oh, I see. Okay. So understanding technology at a fundamental level is like the first item, and then innovation is the second item. Yeah, this could use some love for sure. I am no writer, but I think this is it doesn't tell us a whole lot about you. Like this sentence, this is so classic. Like we say this like 50% of the time reading bios. If there's a sentence that could apply to anyone in audio in the world, then maybe you don't put it in your bio. You know, make things a little more specific to you. This is again going back to what I was saying earlier, just like a few minutes ago, about the idea of rewarding people's, you know, people for their time. If they do want to dig deeper, if they're impressed with your work from your reel and they want to learn more about you, then yeah, reward them for taking the time to dig deeper. And when they have sentences like, for example, this helps us tell better stories and to deliver better experiences to the audience. Like, this is not about you, Thareeq. This is about me. And like, I guess I believe it's like about your belief a little bit, but really you're just talking about like general game sound design philosophies and stuff, right? You're not talking about you. So this space, this text space here could for sure be better used up by information about you. Yeah, because again, you're just looking to make a stronger impression. If someone's reading it at all, try and make sure you stick in their mind somehow. And this is not going to stick in anyone's minds right here, unfortunately. But yeah, knowing like your age when you're looking into making music for the first time, like that's cool, awesome. Digital audio first at 14. Yeah, it sounds a bit like me. I was in high school and just started doing like Fruity Loops beats and stuff. And yeah, like computer science engineering, that's relevant too, certainly. And then audio engineering, sound design, like that's all very relevant. This is great. Up to here is very good. And then past that, you could perhaps switch things up a bit if you'd like. Load more. Oh, more portfolio. I see. There's 2 more things. Oh, classic, the Waves challenge. Haven't seen that for a while. Various things. Cool. There's like some tutorials and stuff too. Oh, this is that. I've seen this. This was on Twitter, or was it Blip Sounds? I think it was like some Twitter thing, and they were like, "Hey, just redesign this," and a bunch of folks did. Cool. Well, let's go to the blog. No one guessed. No one's making guesses for the blog post. You're all afraid of making offense. I didn't look at the date. I'm gonna say though November of last year. January of last year. Oh, it's been a hot minute. It's been a minute. Nailed it. This is not nailed it, Ryan. This is last year. This is not 2021. This is 18 months, not 6 months. It's a long time. I know this whole that year was like it didn't happen. I understand that 2020 was like a zero time duration year. But yes, it was in fact 18 months. So that's a while. This is a while for sure. I mean, without having watched the reel or anything yet, I will say that so things like this being old-ish and things like but it doesn't work. What the heck? Oh, it does. Oh, I can't click it. What's happening? Oh, there we go. Yeah, things like this Twitter link being broken, just things like this, they tend to be symptoms. And the thing is, I don't even believe that this is the case because people in the chat know Thareeq and they know that he's doing stuff. But when you have things like old posts and broken links and things like that, it smacks a bit of you were hired somewhere and this page is a bit like abandoned, or it's like not up to date, or perhaps you've just been busy with other things in your life and like haven't really kept up with your audio stuff. Like, and that's, of course, this is all having seen nothing yet, right? It's very possible this is like, knock our socks off. And it may even say it be named like 2021 or something. It's possible. But yeah, just my first impression from those like few data points is like, I wonder if they're actually still active. So yeah, good to keep that kind of thing in mind. Do these links work? I don't click Facebook. It's gonna have my page open and stuff. Let's go YouTube. Okay, has things. Cool. We got LinkedIn is working, and Floating Man Audio Labs to present. Okay, so that's like your current thing, or maybe it's your thing. I'm not sure. Let's watch a reel though. Yes. Crank my Chrome back up. 125. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see if that 25 seconds is worth it or not. My thought is probably not, but we'll see. We'll see.
Can you hear me? I hope you made it safely down there, and I hope you can hear me.
Security check in progress. Access granted.
All right, full disclosure, I completely glazed over and phased out, and I've not been watching for the last 10 seconds. And that's, I guess, just a valid data point. It's a valuable data point. I'm gonna rewind, because I fully just phased out. Let's go. Okay. Oh, we can't. Yeah, because of the embed thing. Okay, let's do this instead. All right. So yeah, this is certainly longer than it has to be. Certainly. Let's talk about this a bit. Thank you for all those claps in the chat. Appreciate that. Excuse me. All right. So, let's talk about this reel. Cool intro. Very nice. We have a website. We have a thing. Nice. Suggest you're serious. Also like this I like this icon. Very cute. Okay. So, we have a 2-second intro. Very nice. Classic. We got Godfall. We're seeing this more and more, eh? I'm wondering if it's like part of a curriculum somewhere, if people just like the clip. I've seen it probably 5 or 6 times now. Yeah, we got Godfall. We got the thing in the corner. We got flow-wise. This goes into what? Pretty long clip, 20 seconds long, 20 seconds-ish, and then into this guy. Classic Mortal Kombat trailer. Is it just for Mortal Kombat, or is it like one of the Mortal Kombat's? Like 10 or 11 or something. I don't know what they're on right now. I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan. Mortal Kombat trailer. Or is it just Mortal Kombat period? Can someone tell me? This is not something I'm familiar with. I have no idea. Is this, okay, here's 2021. Is this the one? This is the checkers game. No, Verbo. No time for you. I'm trying to find this source material. What is this? Is the movie. This isn't helpful. Is MK11? Isn't it 11 we're on right now? That like Shapler was helping with? Shapler's now elsewhere now. He's at PlayStation now, but yes, Mortal Kombat 11 trailer. Let's see here. Official launch trailer. What are we looking at? This is not. This clip is not in this trailer as far as I can tell. What am I looking at? Yeah, so, oh, is it here? No, I don't know where it is. I have no idea. Well, was the reveal trailer, I think. Here we go. Yeah, so that's worth considering is having Yeah, definitely. This is okay. It's the cinematic reveal trailer. That's what it is. So, yeah, I would be careful about, making sure that you're being courteous to the source material. We'll talk about titles in a second here, but just for flow wise, this just ends and starts a new clip, right? There's no like. Oh, that was a fun transition actually. Look at that. Woohoo! One of those. Very nice, fancy. Moving into Unity thing. Same transition, or is it fade out?
Hello, Baker.
Whoa! It's one of these. Woof. Okay.
Hello, Baker.
Very nice. And then Pomodi, yo. Good to see you. Let's go into the next piece, and it's like here-ish. Is that right?
Granted.
Ooh. Was that a designed transition for sound? Ooh. I can't tell if that was in the clip or not.
Access granted.
Pretty cool. Not bad. Okay, well, right. These titles are pretty rough on the whole. Thareeq, these do not look good. And it's for a few different reasons. We got like the UI stomping all over your lower thirds because they're not really at the third. Put it here instead. Classic. If you are awaiting a certain prompt to drink, the time has come. It is time to take your shot of Jameson or whatever you're drinking today and make your lower third look like this instead. Make it like this, something like that. It's going to be way better received. I mean, even like just the coloring. I mean, it's like the cyan and yellow is kind of an odd choice to me because your page is like this. You have some kind of. I mean, your page isn't like super branded, but you do have like the logo. You do have. Well, it's not here though. Put your logo on your page. Make it all cohesive. Throw your logo here, and I mean, you have this kind of like what color is this? Salmon, rust, some kind of pinkish orange color. You have this color here, and then it doesn't appear in your video. It's like cyan and this kind of yellowish brownish color. So the positioning is an issue, and also the coloring is kind of like out of left field. Like I'm not sure what is happening there, and furthermore, with that like these bright font colors, this stuff happens, right? Like what does this say? Unity Fontainebleau demo. So yeah, just not the best. It's much better being here. I mean, we just saw like the difference being that when you have something in the back here, you have just like no problem seeing this. Josh, did you do the thing that Svi did? Where it's like bright at first and you dim it down? The mad lad? Oh my god. It's even better now. How's he do it? Okay, so this... I totally listed that. Yeah, you should. Everyone should do that. Okay, so... with the titles in general, the positioning is different each time, so consistency is not great. You do say sound redesign, that's good. It might be worth being courteous to the developers and saying like who did the game. Again, you're just using their content to further your own career, right? So it can't be. It's really not a bad move to say like who it's by. For all the games. Say NetherRealm for Mortal Kombat, etc. See here, one note too. It's not capital F in Godfall. Just these kind of details are they're meaningful. They do count for something because these are things that people have worked on so hard. You don't know if someone looking at this trailer like worked on Godfall. Like I did not work myself, but I know the person who like did the sound for this trailer, and just having a little bit of respect and time to like quickly do that Google search, make sure that you're naming your content, you're naming your source material correctly, could be. It's certainly not a bad move. I mean, the name of the game being correct won't like win you points, but having it incorrect will possibly lose you points. Does that make sense? Just be aware of that. Okay, so then onto this though. So we have Unity. Oh my God. So first it's Unity spaceship demo, sound redesign, and Unity/Wise implementation. Okay. Sound redesign. So, this is like a demo game you can download and then do your own thing in, I guess. I've never seen it. I guess that makes sense, like a sound redesign. It's kind of like if someone downloaded the Celeste source Fmod project and did like a redesign in Fmod. Yeah, I mean, this might even be faster. Like you say Unity right here, Unity spaceship demo. And then beneath, you could say like sound redesign in Wise. That might be enough. Rather than, I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of just trimming the fat wherever possible. Make it easy to glance at the lower third here. Be like, okay, got it, and like back to your work here, so you can see your awesome sound design. Yeah, the more text there is, I hate it. I'm sorry, but I hate it. Procedural room tones. Also 2 spaces here. And VFX triggered sound events for immersion. Procedural room tones and VFX triggered sound events for immersion. I mean, sure, but you don't need to say that. Like if it says Unity spaceship demo, sound redesign in Wise, this will speak for itself. Like you don't need to say, hey, look at this VFX triggered thing.
You can hear me.
Like that you're already saying it's in Wise. You don't need to say that it's adding immersion. Like this is again, it's kind of doing this again. It's like just describing what our jobs is. This helps us tell better stories and deliver better experiences to the audience. It's just you're just describing game audio. You're not really saying it just isn't. This isn't adding enough value to justify it being here and then distracting from watching this scene. I don't think you need text at all.
Security check in progress.
Okay, sound events tied to Unity. So yeah, again, I this comes back to what I was saying that I totally phased out. Like I glazed over and stopped watching about 8 seconds from now. And I think this helps because right now we have like this text here that's hard to read. We have this text here that's from the game. We have this text here to help contextualize what we're seeing. But all this stuff here, it's not that it isn't. It's not that it's without value, but it's just much better saved for like these kinds of videos, right? You have like this breakdown. It's 5 minutes and 55 seconds long. And it probably has much more information that it pertains to like things like this. But this is the 2 of the 1-2 punch. This part right here. It's not very helpful to be like throwing text at someone when it's the first thing they've ever seen because they don't yet know that they want to know more. When they learn they do want to know more because your stuff kicks ass, then they will happily watch those videos and learn more and be like, oh damn, Thareeq is awesome and is also super skilled at implementation, etc. That's an excellent result. That's the desired result, right? That you want people to watch your stuff and then, become enamored with your ability to do your job. So this is just, it's just a bit too early. You don't need to put this here at all. And I think it's worse to put it there. I wouldn't recommend it.
Access granted.
Right, so here is where I stopped watching. And we will now watch it actually this time. So we're in Fmod this time. Fmod Studio Debug, it says here. So sound redesign and Unity/Fmod implementation. So again, you don't need to say Unity again. It's right there. Unity, you can say sound redesign in Fmod. It's probably good enough. So now we're walking. I appreciate your whoa, what happened there? I appreciate that your ambience pans. Very nice. Oh, I see it. It like wiped from the center. That confused me for a second. Oh, it didn't though. It didn't do it. I was right. It's like it goes like this, but it's like too narrow or something, so it misses the ends of the text. Look at that. So we only have enough for this space, but not all of it. Yeah, again, just things like this, just little details, right? You're obviously doing some pretty cool stuff in Unity and Fmod and Wise. You're putting the time in to learn these things, but these details, they risk distracting from all that hard work you put in. So I hate to like harp on you for these like kind of presentation things, but it's important. I mean, honestly, the of all the demos we've ever reviewed on Real Talk, it's much more often, it's more frequent that the biggest issue is one of communication of your talents and skills and so forth. It is less frequent that the biggest problem is the actual skill and talent and craft. And this is a great example of that because you've obviously put some good time into this work, but I think that the presentation is a bigger problem than the various audio things we could talk about. So just be aware of that. It's worth putting that time in to really tighten things up. Because, I mean, just to be very blunt, like I stopped watching, right? Like I stopped watching. So these things you put in to be like, hey, look, this cool thing I did. I just didn't see it at all. And it's not because I'm distracted. Like I'm here for one purpose, and it's to watch your reel, and I stopped watching it. So that's certainly an issue. So that's worth addressing. But let's talk about the material selection. So we have the sound redesign here from Godfall, very AAA project. Also this one, NetherRealm, seems like you want to have a AAA position. We got some personal work here in Unity, Fmod, Wise. Cool. I mean, yeah, it seems pretty clear to say that I feel clear in assuming what you want to be doing, which is a good thing. For content quality, let's talk about that for a bit. So we got a few notes. I think that you've got some really strong stuff in here, but my main takeaway after watching these first two clips is that it seems like there is okay, first, before we get into that, Josh, thank you for slowing me down. The length thing we got to talk about just briefly. So 125 is longer than it has to be, absolutely. You can put these 4 clips in a minute, no problem. Josh says, I think you could cut the 2 in-engine clips down by quite a lot and still tell the viewer everything you want to tell them in 1 minute. 100%. Yeah, I mean, the footsteps are footstepping for so long. Footsteps and ambience are, it's again, not without value, but it's a bold thing to finish with. And when it's only footsteps and ambience, because it's like a bit sleepy, right? So having something there that's like, hey, look at this cool demo I did work in. Again, it serves more as an invitation to look at further content you have elsewhere on your page, probably. Do you? Maybe not. I don't know that I see it. Spaceship is here. Yeah, so this might be an example of something you could also put in this area. Is it down here? No. So having this clip in your portfolio with that additional information, like we've got, oh, is it even in this clip? Am I making things up? I think I'm making things up. Yeah, so having some more information like narrated, commentated could be very powerful. Yeah. But back to content stuff. So my takeaway from this is that it seemed like you may have this temptation to throw all the sound at the clip all the time. And it was a little bit, I think it risks being exhausting and also losing clarity on like what the actual true dynamics of the scene, what they are. Because like if everything is big all the time, then nothing is small. And if nothing's small, then nothing's big either. It's all just like the same. There's no, like the dynamics, when you have a big moment, the reason it's big is because the stuff before it and around it is smaller. So when everything's big, that big moment is no longer big. It's just like the same. So let's watch this first clip through again. I'm curious to see it again. Right. So there certainly are peaks and valleys across that entire clip, but it just seemed like every big attack was like the biggest attack that's ever happened kind of thing, you know? And the second thing I'll say about that is that the size is it's also being communicated through the stereo width of the things happening. So there's like, and it's like super wide. So if we're to believe that these sounds are coming from the characters in the scene, there's like this dissociation happening where, yeah, cheers, Thareeq, you got it, exactly. There's this like dissociation where I don't entirely believe the sounds I'm hearing are coming from the characters. And then as a result, I lose my immersion, which is said right here, isn't it? Oh no, it was in the other clip. My bad. Yeah, the immersion is an issue because it's like super wide, but the thing we're seeing is right in front of us. So sure, there's certainly room, and there are times that you can be throwing some stereo stuff in. That, I mean, very commonly is things like reverb, things like how the room is reacting to the things happening. If there's like a big impact, did it shake the ground? You're hearing like debris, like rock falling from the walls. There's things like that can certainly be stereo. And even if there's like a magical spell, you can have some stereo as well. But on the whole, I'd still recommend having a stereo width that's like focused inside the panorama. So if your full panorama is like this, left to right 180, you could have like a 90-degree wide spell or ability or something. So it still has like a location within the wider panorama. You have like this thing happening here within this. So yeah, you can have width and like richness to a sound while kind of balancing it against the idea that this sound is coming from a sound source. Like there's a point in space from which this sound is being emitted. And I just don't get that at all from this clip. Like there's so much width. Just listen one more time and listen for how wide this whole clip is. Like that was particularly egregious right there on this wind up, because a lot of the kind of what you see is what you get style design with like the impact and the ricochets and so forth. This here though is like just goes so wide. It's like zoom, zoom, right off the top. Nothing is happening visually, like spell wise or ability wise. It's just like a Foley movement right there. There's no purple yet. And it's so wide. So the issue is that there's some really cool design in here, but I just don't believe it's coming from the characters. So yeah, it's tricky. I'm certainly hearing your digital audio background as far as like synth work and stuff. It's pretty cool. Just yeah, it's just the challenge then is to make it believable that these sounds are actually coming from this position in space, and it's not just some like abstract kind of like art piece that's like synced with the cinematic, because that's what you risk it being. We've seen ones on Real Talk that are like even more separate from the scene than this is, because at least you've got kind of the, like I was saying, the impacts of Foley are a bit more focused in space, but we've had ones where it's like a sword swing in front of us and it's like like hard left right in your ears, like whoa, I was like inside that sword swing. So let's carry on though. What up, Kramer? Kramer says the peaks and valleys both feel very dramatic. That slow motion flip dodge feels like a good moment for things to quiet down. Yeah, just pick your moments, right? I'm gonna listen for one more thing, actually. This came up last time we saw this redesign. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the thing too is a lot of the impacts sound kind of samey, like ting 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 ting. They're all kind of you probably have more room to kind of like what is being impacted and what's the strength of the impact and so forth. It just feels like we've got kind of this like ting 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 kind of in between these like big wide moments. So yeah, it's this dissociation is kind of the biggest consideration here for me. The coverage is awesome though. Like everything's got sound. Just a matter of maybe dialing things back a bit. And yes, Gotham, that came up. That's what I was watching for this time. I was looking for the hits because there aren't really that many hits in this clip. Or maybe there are. I'm just not reading them as hits because they don't sound like hits. But ting, 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 ting is we end up interpreting the meaning of all those impacts as being identical. So they were all things, like all blocks or impacts that had no result, no consequence. We saw a redesign of this with... Was it Brian actually? Was it Brian Higa who gave this feedback? Someone gave this feedback saying that there's like a punch moment in this trailer where he kind of staggers back and the punch sounded the same as like the glances and ricochets and such. But yeah, just anyway, any way you can kind of further inform what's specifically happening with sound design, then take that opportunity. And Máté, I'm inclined to agree with that too. I was kind of dancing around that a bit. The Skrillexy synth vibes. Yeah, it's more kind of clean magic wizardy. Yeah, I mean it's sure. I mean it's in the end it comes down to like audio direction of the project. So in this case, if Thareeq, if you're deciding that the kind of synth stuff is the direction you want to go, then it just comes back to what I was saying, that it is now in your the challenge is yours to make us believe that those sounds came from these characters. And I think the bigger issue there, Máté, is that like because it's so wide, we don't believe at all. But if it was more focused, like maybe perhaps we could believe that it's coming from these characters. I'm inclined to agree that I think it's maybe a bit of departure from what I expect, but it can be fun to kind of explore different sounds and see if it works somehow. I've seen like a demolition of a building designed in like 8-bit. It's like kind of a cool approach, just like a study in 8-bit design instead. So it's not like it's wrong. It's a redesign. You can do whatever you want. Just a matter of balancing doing whatever you want with, is this going to be something that someone in a sound studio or a game studio is going to see and be like, oh yeah, this resembles something that I would want to see in a game, and therefore I'm going to hire this person. Well, that's kind of what you're working with there. So regarding the kinds of impacts and so forth and the kinds of strikes, I think this trailer here, the Mortal Kombat piece, has some more on that. Let's have a look. Yeah, so close your eyes, everyone. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, and close your eyes. All right, so after hearing that, eyes closed, I would say that was the same thing happening 4 times. It was like a thrown dagger or something, and like 4 daggers, like, and there's just 4 of them. But if we watch it, there is some discrepancy to what's happening, isn't there? Let's see. Right, so it's a backhand slash, a forehand slash, and then a stab 1, stab 2, and it looks in the face. Is that where it is? Oh, brutal. Classic Mortal Kombat move. So we have a backhand slash across the chest, stomach, and then forehand across the chest, stomach, maybe the neck, actually. I can't really tell. And then we have stab in the face. Through the face. Oh my God. So the thing is, a slash across the chest sounds different than a stab through the face. So again, just try to differentiate like a slash versus a stab. So a slash might be like shing. You have the ring out after the blade goes past the target, right? And then stabs more like you have like a because the blade's not being let to ring. Just that alone will help a lot as far as trying to differentiate what's actually happening here. And with these scenes, they're so cinematic. This is a trailer, right? So being so cinematic, like your entire role is telling the story here, and all the finishing moves and stuff in Mortal Kombat, they're all like super cinematic. So telling the story accurately, I mean, there's so much detail in like the specific bones they're breaking and stuff, right? So being more detailed in your sound design will only help the final product. Vocalizations might also help. Yes and no. Maybe it could help. VO is a contentious thing when it comes to demo reels because usually it's not good. So only do VO if you are 100% certain it is adding to the piece somehow, and not just that, oh, their mouths are moving and therefore it's bad, I should add voice. It's risky. So make sure the voice is good, because if the voice is not good, it'll be all the people here and they'll go, oh my God, this is bad because the voice is terrible. What a bad choice. So be aware. If you think you can do like a yeah, and it's gonna sound good, and it could ship with the game, then power to you. But in my personal experience, I can tell you that of all the times I've seen things voiced in a demo reel from someone at like a level like this, when you're looking for a role, like an entry level role in the industry, it is like typically not good. Like 7 times out of 10, it's not good. Like not good enough. It is like not good enough that it shouldn't have been there in the first place. So, excuse me. It's probably different between cinematics and in-game actions, right? Like 2 similar hits, even if one's a slash and one's a stab, could have reason to sound identical. Well, questionable. This is specifically a trailer, though. So even if that is a question you're asking, it says right here trailer. So we don't need to consider things like that. For in-game actions, I would argue there still is differences between like slashes and stabs. There might be like a you did damage sound that sure will be the same, but I think for the movement it would be different. Let's watch more. Yeah, so again, this comes down to it's the same thing as a Godfall. It's super odd. It's like a drawbridge retract thing. So the issue here is one of sync. I'm going to turn off my sidechain for a second. So now there's no delay. So that sound goes down it keeps going way past the moment of freezing, doesn't it? Right? It's like, I mean, we're just frozen here right now. So be aware. Just be aware of these things. And the width is also, again, an issue. Just super wide, but the thing is in front of us. So be aware of that, too. I like the... Well, actually, I'm not sure I do. I like the psh, the kind of wide, reverby splash on it. But, again, it just carries on past the thing. Yeah, I just don't feel like there is an active effort to pan things accurately. I think a lot of the Foley is like right down the middle, and then when stereo things happen, they happen almost incidentally. It's not like, I don't feel like they're conscious choices to make things wide. So I think there's more room to, especially with the trailer and like cinematic moments in the finishing moves and stuff, you can pan things like 30% right. Why not? Just give things a home. If the Foley's like there on the screen and not there, then sure, pan it a bit. Why not? If everything's panned a bit, you just open up the space and the mix becomes so much more clear. And it's not the kind of thing that people will like applaud you for, but it just will sound better in the end. And then with the splash lasting so long here, like ended, I don't even hear where the tail ended. It was like, and that just comes back to my very first point that it feels like there's just so much sound all the time, and you have more room to like pick your peaks and valleys and be like, okay, what's the story about now? What's it about now? What's it about now? What's it about now? And you change your mix over time to reflect the evolving story. With this here, like, like sure, that was absolutely the main part of the story right there. But right there it stops. We have like the blood is in slow motion, and then we come back to reality. It goes full motion again, and the blood falls to the ground. Watch. Right? So it's no longer going shh. It's like whoosh. So you can go shh and cut it off. And when you cut it off, it has the wonderful effect of like revealing the next thing we're hearing in the scene. So we have this wonderful kind of like cascade of attention where you, as the sound designer, your role is to like support the narrative and help guide the listener, guide the viewer's attention. But as it stands now, it's a bit scattered in its attention. It's not super focused. We have this and right now the focus is still on the thing that just happened, and it's not on the thing that's happening now. It's a big issue. Big issue. Yeah, those are a lot of good points to work with on content stuff. This bit, I mean, it's awesome that it's here at all. You're obviously putting the time in to understand like interactive audio. That's excellent. The piece, like both these pieces are fine. You know, it's just footsteppy and ambiency, and there's room for improvement certainly, but it's not what these pieces are for. They serve the purpose of saying, hey, I'm doing wise and Fmod things in Unity. Pretty cool, right? And it is cool. Good job. Just make it shorter and stuff here.
Security check in progress. Access granted.
Nice rising sound. Very nice. Yeah, it's like it's all fine. I don't really have any big notes for this. I think this is plenty of much more immediately actionable notes to work with. So let's move from there. We've got these various things. I'm going to guess that you are not talking in these that's my only my perhaps erroneous assumption. We'll see. Silent.
I hope you can hear me.
Look at that text. All voice assets in game were synthesized using WaveNet AI from Google. Okay. This just the classic feedback. Don't use text. I want to hear you talking to us instead, because when you talk, you illustrate in your voice how passionate you are for these things you've worked on so hard. And it's just so much more effective at conveying your information you want to convey. I am way, way more likely to watch a thing if you were walking me through it with your voice, as opposed to forcing me to read things. And while I'm reading things, I'm not paying attention to what I'm listening to. And yeah, there's a lot of issues with this rather than talking through it. So 100%, you should talk through it instead. Cool. I'm going to wrap it up there and move on to Máté. We've got distinction to go through. So distinction, are you standing out in some positive way? I mean, you got some good work here. I think that the fact that you have this computer science background and you're doing implementation things and you're doing these various videos that we don't have time to watch right now, but there's like more things yet. Some sound design technique stuff. This classic thing I saw on Twitter. I mean, it's all good stuff. Pure data. It's nice to see. Very cool. Like, you're obviously a very thoughtful, like you're putting a lot of thought and effort into what you're designing. Just comes down to some more details in the craft and in the focus over time, like we were talking about. That's the biggest thing to work with. So I don't know if you'd be immediately hireable, but there's obviously a strong foundation here. And if you came back in 6 months, having made some leaps and bounds in your design work, then that would look very, very good. And I think at that point you'd be a much stronger candidate. So nice work, very nice. Jordan, Tunic update looks great. Kevin, can't wait to play. And here's some nice audio. Well, you'll hear some. That's an old demo. It's pretty audio-less at this point. But yeah, the game is coming along. I'm excited to get it out into the world ASAP. But no date yet. Sorry. We'll let you know. What up, Dognet? Good to see you. And yes, Ed Hipkins, so you roll in late. Don't worry. Glad to have you here. No sweat. Let's close FM Audio Labs. And thank you, Thareeq. Awesome. Máté has been in the chat many times, a whole lot of times. Can I see in, let me see here. Where the heck? There you are. You've sent 44 messages. Not bad. Very nice. Okay, let's have a look. I'm excited to watch this one. Hi, I'm Máté, sound designer, audio implementer, and composer for games. I'm from Hungary, and I currently live in Bristol. I have a particular passion for storytelling through sound, and I love breathing more life to a game, more life to a game through interactive game audio techniques. I have worked on numerous interactive projects using a range of application and digital audio workstations. Probably S here, applications. During my studies on the Sound for Games and Apps course at DBS University in Bristol. When I'm not working on games or interactive media, I love to cycle and hike as they allow me a chance to record new material while exploring fresh sonic perspectives and possibilities for my library while on the go. Cool. CV is here. Audio software, we got Reaper. Any Reaper fans in the house? Ableton Live, Nuendo, Cubase, Logic Pro X. No Pro Tools. Notably, no Pro Tools. Cool. Unity, UE4, Wise, Fmod, Pure Data. Again, Pure Data. There you go. We don't see that very often. To see it twice in one day is unusual. Hardworking. Soft skills. Hardworking, highly reliable, interpersonal, team player, fun to work with. Good leadership and communication skills. Wonderful. Services. So services. This now tells me you're looking for freelance work. Is this true? We'll see. We shall see. Projects. Various things. We'll come back to that. Mess. Is that to my freelance question? Or is that towards Pro Tools? hard to know. Okay, we got Instagram. We got Twitter. What's here? Let's have a look. Audio things. Hey! This is something I'm familiar with. Very nice. Cool. Cool. All right. Or contact me. Do you have any questions? I do, probably. But I can ask you right now. Let's have a look. Oh, first. Or is it vertical? It's not vertical. Wait, oh my God. Please, Kevin. What are you doing? It is not what is happening with this page? Sound design. Okay. The flashing white's a bit odd. I'm not sure if you can fix that. Okay, we got... Let me introduce you to the handcrafted sound design method that I have been using as my motto. It has proved its success by delivering an accurate sonic environment in multiple games, apps, and films. By using sounds from the real world and mixing them with handcrafted synthesized sounds when necessary, the likeness to real life that a player will hear in your game is enhanced and by far superior using the handcrafted sound design method. This is a long sentence, dude. As well as using commercial sound libraries and specifically recorded or carefully selected samples. The combination of these sources can make a real difference to your project. As a certified Wise middleware user, I can ensure that the sounds in your game will be much more lively and interactive to enhance the overall immersive experience of the player. Okay. Of the player. Okay, sure. It's a bit sales pitchy. So is that, again, it tells me freelance, but we'll see. Composition also. Cool. Okay. I didn't know you came from music. So here's more things. I think it's a bit bold first to have these like big chunks of text up top first. I think in general, people want to hear your stuff first, and then if they care, they will read things like this. So you can probably assume that most people would like scroll down right away and find the thing, and they'd probably click this first. So if that's fine with you, then good. Just be aware of that. The like top left tends to get the attention, and then the rest might. And this probably won't at all. So the fact that it won't get attention, or my suspicion that it won't get attention, may lead you to, consider, is it worth having first? Questionable. Your call. My story. More about you. Cool. I like this. It's kind of like the larger bio. Neat. Seems very audio relevant. There's like percussion here. Is that what it is? Some vibes. Accessibility. Okay. Nice. I like this. So it's like additional information on it's like an article, I guess, a paper, and also your personal philosophies. I want to tell game audio professionals that with only a little extra effort, investment, they can make their game accessible to more people. Yeah, wonderful. It's a good philosophy. Back home. Let's watch a thing. Is it a minute? It's so long. You've watched this stream. What's going on? It's 1:41. I did not expect a video that was not 1 minute exactly. Because typically, when someone's been in the chat as much as you have, the length is short. So we'll see. This is bold AF. We'll see. Oh, wait. There we go. Hey, Chris. You made me throw the horns up, and now I hate your reel. Is that Wilhelm? Was that Wilhelm? What's the opposite of applause? How do I press that button? Oh my god. We're carrying on. We're carrying on. I haven't heard the Wilhelm scream since Siegfried Klar's reel from like, geez, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? All right, back here. All right. Fine. Okay, we're at a minute, and I'm still kind of interested. I will keep I probably would keep watching at this point because of all this stuff happening here. It's a bit interesting. So I have thoughts though. We'll come back to it. Play them off. All right. Very nice. That was cool. Yeah, all right. All right. I still don't know if it had to be this long, but it was not. It was not offensively long or obnoxiously long. And we've seen ones that are like, okay, this is a pretty hard watch. I would not classify your reel as a hard watch. So you have that going for you. Very nice. So some collapse in the chat. Some folks are fans. Jonesy, that was awesome, they say. I'm inclined to agree. Pretty cool stuff. So where to begin? We got 20 minutes left-ish. So we got an opening. Very nice. Cool opening. Nice and tasteful. Matches your page, I believe, right? Doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Branding. Simple. See, it doesn't need to be crazy. Like just even this, just the font matching, black and white. That's all it takes to show some mindfulness there. That's all it takes. So okay, our title went away. was this. This is quite low actually. In the scene, throw it higher, can't hurt. Gameplay, sound redesign. Okay, sure. I would take the now Josh Adam Bell lifted approach of keeping it up and fading it out. The yellow is an interesting choice though. There's no yellow on your page elsewhere. Oh, there is yellow. I guess kinda. I think the move here instead is to have the black background, but use your yellow text. I think that might be a better approach, because then you could do the fade out thing, and it's not going to look weird as like yellow against the background, you know? And keep it up. And quite frankly, this like white on yellow is harder to read at a glance. Like out of the corner of my eye, I can't really see what it says, but what on black, just the contrast I think it's a better move. It's a taste thing, but I think it's a valid point. It's just that the contrast is maybe a consideration there. So it's a small nitpicky thing, but there you go. As far as transition, the next piece, we got what? Fade to black and back in. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I know you have like the little video clips popping up and stuff though, so I get why you might not want to have the titles there. Can you just put this here instead? You know. Let's talk about these, because that really is the focus of this. You don't need like title feedback. So I think these clips work the best when it's immediately obvious, even peripherally in your peripheral vision, what is in the clip and what's happening, like in your little overlay picture-in-picture things. So things like this. This is very obvious. I can see out of the corner of my eye. I can see there are hands crumpling a thing in the scene. This is excellent. I love this so much. This takes work to to do it this way, not to just pull from a library and be like, that's fine, but to record your own stuff, it takes work. To film it takes work. To resync it to the thing you made is more work yet. There is a lot of work here, and that work alone really speaks to how serious you are and how passionate you actually are. And that's excellent. It's a very, very good look. However, things like this. Is it here? This. I don't super get what you are looking to convey with that one on my first watch. Whoop. Like, okay, it's a level uppy sound. It seems kind of jokey, maybe? Just like a little joke. I don't think you need to have that there. It's just, yeah, it's a joke. So I think that this is maybe, like, you're doing such a great job of showing how damn serious you are at this. I don't think that's necessary or valuable. Because for me, it forces like this, like, oh, what's that? And I'm now distracted by that. And then I'm confused for a second, like, oh, what even was that? Like, did he use a Mario sound or like what? So it's a very short moment it's like a risk that probably isn't worth taking. And I think that your jokey character can come in later, like in a personal interview very easily, or like in a tour of the studio or whatever that might look like in the end. I don't think that needs to be here, because you're like, I'm so damn serious, and then it's like, oh, but I'm not. And this, I don't think it's worthwhile. It's risky. And further to that point, so these clips of you doing stuff are excellent. I like them so much. However, the clips of like this, for instance, it's like feedback. This isn't as obvious, like what purpose this clip is serving, like this little picture-in-picture. There's like feedback. I saw there's like a serum clip or a screenshot. Yeah, like here. Yes, serum, here we go. So, like, cool, I guess, but this alone, I can't tell what this is at a glance. And this also is a bit at odds with the freelance thing I was talking about earlier. A, because you're choosing some pretty damn AAA projects here to redesign, like Doom and Spider-Man and such. So yes, you can assume that audio people will be viewing your reel. It's not like some indie developer who doesn't know what Serum is. But even so, this doesn't really tell me as much, and I don't think it's as valuable as like, hey, look, I'm doing it. This is so much cooler to see out of the corner of your eye, and it just takes more work. A screenshot of a synth is just not the same kind of value, in my opinion. If you think it's worth saying like, oh, but I know that this studio has a person who like loves Serum and will love seeing that, then sure, leave it in. It's questionable. The value this adds compared to the value a recording of you doing stuff adds, I think it's just much less. Moving on. This is cool. Freaking plastic and paper bag looks like crumpling for what, debris or something? Pretty sick. Hairdryer. Like, this is all awesome. This is so damn cool. And because this is so damn cool, you just don't need to have the jokes or like the screenshots of synths. Like, it's obvious you're doing work beyond just like taking the recording of the hairdryer and putting it and being like, and we're done. Like, it's not like there's sound design happening here, obviously. So I don't think it's super necessary to be adding those things in. Really strong. Someone said, Niall was saying, I didn't notice the example videos until halfway through. Could be more visible. I think being here, like being right here with the title still up, maybe a bit bigger, I think it's fine. Yeah, it's they're so short that I don't think you need to worry about like real estate. It could be like up to this big even, you know, like that big instead. Sure. Yeah, super cool though. Let's talk about the sound itself, shall we? Yes, I believe we shall. I don't know if we'll make it through the whole thing. Let's watch this again. So I love your ambience dropout here. That's a great example of like kind of picking and choosing your mix, because this is now, we're in the air. This moment in the player's story is about like being above the city and like the wash of the city and hearing the traffic and stuff. Super cool. And then we land. Ugh. That Wilhelm scream is so risky to include. I hate it personally. I think it's a terrible choice. I think it's just an awful choice. It feels a bit like in-jokey, but I think it's just not worth the risk. You could just have someone listen to it and be like, oh my God, like screw this guy. It's just like a wink. It's a wink in audio that only people not in audio will like, or by a large majority, people in not audio like that. There's this like recurring joke, but people in audio by a much larger margin don't like it. So it's just risky. I'll leave it to you to decide if it's worth the risk or not. Up to you. Yeah, so as we've said many times, Control is a bold redesign because the original sounds incredible. It's so good. This, I know how much work that team put into that sound to get it right. And you've done it justice. It's pretty nice. That's maybe the best one there. It's a little more subtle. That the like really loud, the first one is maybe a bit too loud. Here, I think. Like it's so kind of buzzy almost that it's risking being a little bit too abrasive over time. You know, hearing it 100 times, 1,000 times in the game. And that's why they put so much work into that sound, because it's heard so often in the game. And it's so cool to have like the movement and weight, everything illustrated in the sound. It's all very important, obviously. So yeah, that's cool though. Yeah. What was that sound? That bling, bling, bling. What was that? Here somewhere? I don't know what that sound was. That pling, pling, pling. But, so I think your pulling in is great, but the throw is kind of absent. Like even right there, we just heard the rock breaking, but not really like the throw. It's even early. Like we hear like even before it hits. But the first time, I didn't hear any of that stuff. I didn't hear any like weaknesses or strange choices because this was on screen. I was like, so cool, recording rocks. Awesome. And that was my takeaway. So there you go. It's positive. That part sounds a little mechanical hydraulic for a psychic levitation ability to my ears. Sure. Cool gun. Maybe loud, but pretty cool. So I like the shot. I think it's maybe a bit abrasive, high frequency wise, but pretty cool. Very cool. Hearing that like at that volume forever in a game might be a bit much. But one note though, the charge up I feel is a reload. Felt a little bit apart from the rest of the design. I'm not sure I believe it came from the weapon. The charge there, I do believe, came from the weapon. The charge down felt a bit too clean, maybe. Like I heard the whole thing pitched down perfectly. I'm not sure how to fix that. Just that was my thought the first time watching through. I was like, I don't really believe that reload, but pretty cool. Just yeah, maybe a little bit rough to hear ad nauseum in a game. Right here. I think there's room for some more depth there. I don't know. It's so tricky. Like reloads in games are so back and forth. Like some of them sound so like beefy, and some like Destiny 2, for instance, the reloads are so quiet. Like they're quiet and almost like under-designed. Kind of surprised me to hear them in game. Actually, they're very like generalized, and I think because you don't want to hear the reload too much, that was the choice they made as a team. That like the reload is the least important part of all the sounds the gun makes. I don't know, but here, given this is like a showcase of nothing but the reload, I think there's room to design more. Because it's very easy to assume that someone can like under-design something. If they show it over-designed, I can assume like, oh, well, they could do less than this. But if you under-design something, it's not as easy of an assumption to assume they could do more. Does that make sense? So with this, it's really quite like clacky, and this gun looks pretty big, like big-ish. It's like rifle-y. I love this too, the little wrench. Very cool. I think there's more room for like a little more depth, just a little bit more. And if not for size, then for proximity, because you're right in front of it, like this proximity effect being nearer to the sound source. Like if I were designing this and I was currently at a state you're at right now, my next temptation would be just to add depth to what you already have there, like some boom and stuff for like the push in and for the big moments in the story of the reload. Like something in there, a little more weight for things happening. Because it's again, close your eyes for this. It's all quite high frequencies, so it tells me A, small, and B, not powerful. So yeah, just be aware of that. But again, freaking some games have super under-designed reloads, so what do I know? What do I know? Just one man's opinion. pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is this firing sound I thought was gonna be a little bit hot in the highs, which seems like a symptom across a lot of your design. Is like the highs are pretty serious. The shot is maybe a bit much. Just always be aware how efficiently human ears transduce high frequencies, and yeah, don't be afraid to pull your highs down. They're gonna punch through the mix. Don't worry, they'll be heard. There's some strong design in here. I think that the Foley could have a little more consideration for like the frequency focus, like the movement specifically of Adam Jensen. Like that in particular, right there. The launch into the flip into the land. It's kind of it's very samey in the frequency focus. Besides that, it's super cool. Like you've got a lot of different sounds from moment to moment, and I like that a lot. That's cool. Just there's more room to be just a little more mindful and detailed in like the jump and the flip and the land, and making it a little more different. Even the arm flipping, is that what it is? Yeah, it's like the arm cut off, right? It's kind of in there. Listen to that arm flip and then compare the frequency content of the arm flip against Adam Jensen's like launch and flip and land, okay? You hear that? Like the and then he jumps and flips. It's kind of similar, and they're obviously like very different in like size and material and so forth, and speed. Yeah, just something to keep in mind there. Otherwise, like, pretty cool. Nice design. Heard a noise tail at the end that may extend a bit too long. Did ya? Oh. I don't know, something happened there. It might just be a cool multi-stage gunshot. Could be. Yeah, we saw this designed by someone else recently, and the feedback was that the sync on the shielding could use some more detail. They had kind of like a cool crystalline synth thing, I seem to recall, and design-wise was a cool sound, but it just didn't really sync with what was happening, so I just didn't believe that was the sounds coming from what we're seeing. And with yours, there's like a kind of sound in there, and I don't know if that's the sound of the shielding. There's like a zoom zoom on the fist. It's there kind of, but it's really quiet. And with how much, I mean, this is the entire story is like this shielding happening. So if I think there's just more room to bring that to the absolute forefront of what we're hearing, right? Zoom zoom. It's really careful. Like very polite for how big that hand is on the screen and how important that hand getting shielded first is, being it's the first thing the bullets are gonna hit, or the shrapnel. Yeah, if I close my eyes here also, what do we hear? I'm just not sure I believe that that's the sound of this. It's kind of like electrical static almost. It's kind of in there. Yeah, I just want a little more like, this is such a cool effect, like this crystalline kind of like appearance of the shielding, right? Yeah, it's just a little generalized. It's like this in the background, like, but for, oh, how about panning? Is there panning here for right and left? A little bit, I guess. Yeah, just more detail there would be great, because it's so focused on what we're looking at. It kind of demands it. Like, you need to be really focused. The explosion was nice. It's cool. Yeah. Cool piece though. I like seeing this one designed. It's interesting. A lot of room for expression. Okay, so that's a lot of feedback. It's 132. Holy crap. Are you standing out in a positive way? Yeah. Super cool. I like it. Implementation wise, there's nothing, right? Is that what we're seeing? So we see here Unity UE4 Wise Fmod are the things in here that suggest that you've done those things, or is projects as below? Let's look at that first. Excuse me. So this is unique and I love it. I don't even need to watch it. I know it's awesome. Good job. Okay, audio design in Wise. 7 minutes.
Hi, my name is Máté, and I made the sounds for Project Boost, and there are some cool audio features in the game that I want to demonstrate.
All right, so mix-wise, you're pretty loud in the music. Careful of that. I would err on the side of caution for this stuff. Just make your voice very loud, or rather make everything else very quiet to make sure you're audible.
And there are some cool audio features in the game that I want to demonstrate to you in this video, such as challenging parts of the asset creation process, favorite ability.
Yeah, I can hear what you're saying. I'm just trying a bit harder than I should have to. Like I'm straining to hear your voice a little bit.
The dialogue system, and music implementation. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I realize that this comes up a lot with things like the narrated clips. I know I always say that I love seeing them, but just be aware that when these do appear, you will be judged on things like your voiceover recording ability and your voiceover editing ability and your compression and your mixing and like ducking to make room for your voice. Things like this. These all measure in. And it's also why it's a very powerful tool, because if you do those things well, it again is just more pluses in your favor, right? More pluses yet. Yeah, so I love that this exists. We've got, let's skip through. We've got some Wise stuff.
Effect.
Beefy.
And 2 containers for the low and high debris sounds.
Cool. Yeah, so this is precisely what I was worried you were missing, and you're not. So that's cool. I don't know if it's a bad idea to put that in your main reel. Again, thinking if this is the only thing someone watches, are they going to get that you also have Wise chops, an Fmod, and UE4 and Unity? Are they going to know? And if they love your stuff and look farther, if you think your stuff's strong enough that they will look farther and see, oh, yeah, it's right here, Wise, sweet. If you're confident that'll happen, then cool. It is on you to decide if you think that risk is worthwhile. If you think your stuff's strong enough, you don't need it, then go for it. If you think it's worthwhile having in the reel, that's valid too and probably valuable. Your reel is longer than it has to be, but it's pretty cool with the picture-in-picture stuff. Just remove the jokey things is my recommendation. And I think you could probably focus on the things you recorded, like have these clips and not other ones, because this is so strong. It looks so cool to see. The more of it you have, the more serious you look. It's just every additional clip you have is like another check mark. It's great. So really strong. Are you standing out? Hell yeah, absolutely. Really, really strong. For like an entry level position, like you could probably be hired right now. Very nice. Really good. But just clear up what services, what's happening here? Are you freelance or not? That's the question. It's the one thing that you might want to clear up and clarify and communicate a bit more clearly. Because right here, it claims you have good leader. It says you have good leadership and also you have communication skills. Whether those skills are good is, I guess, up for debate. But yes, unsure. So, like to stay weekend freelancer, okay, fair enough. So that's fine. I mean, if you want to do both, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. There are people who do freelance work for AAA. That could be a thing. Yeah, just be aware that's what it's kind of. That is what it is communicating right now. Is you're kind of freelance, kind of AAA oriented. Okay, back to some freaking tail. Supperwoods. All right. So my chain on. Okay, I think that does it. We'll wrap right there. Thanks to Thareeq and Máté for getting up on stage. Some claps for you. If you want to follow up, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to hit us up on Twitter or wherever. We're a bit busy right now. We're shipping Industries of Titan on Steam Early Access on June 21st, so it's a little crazy right now. And yeah, but I'll try and get back to you whenever I can if you have more questions. And if anyone else wants to submit their work for Real Talk, you can do so down below at powerupaudio.com or through Twitter if you're on there. It's all good. Either one's fine. And we'll try and slot you in. I think the next open slot's like August-ish. It's a bit of a wait right now. It usually is. It's usually like a couple months wait for it. Yeah, so that's that. And go buy freaking Chicory, A Colorful Tale. It's out today on apparently Steam and PS Store. I didn't know that until right now. There you go. Oh, it's going to be so good. I can't wait to play this. Super, super good. Okay, bye all. See you.